Swinging a high fly ball.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
Holy cow!
And there he goes! It's time to step across the line with James Collier as he takes you inside the octagon of sports. With the latest from the world of sports with scores, interviews, and the hardest-hitting analysis in the business. Let's step into the octagon of sports.
Let's go!
With your host, James Collier.
And welcome to Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network. Sorry, it has been a long last 24 hours. Busy day yesterday down in Lexington as the Raceland Rams played in the state football finals. Again, coming up a bridesmaid, and a tough afternoon there for the Rams. They fell behind, played back into the lead, and then gave up a late touchdown. Had a chance there late, much like last year against Sayre, and just came up a little bit short. But a valiant effort again for the Rams. But they come up short to KCD, who wins their first ever state championship. So 100 years and counting now for the Rams, as season 100 is in the books and still chasing down that trophy that is gold, not silver, but 5 state runner-ups for a program. Again, yeah, it sucks that it's not a gold trophy, but there's programs out there that have had a tremendous amount of success, and those programs went through a lot of silver trophies before they got to the gold trophy. And, you know, it's something that you look at of where Raceland was and where it's come to. And there's so many people that I think forget the fact of how much this program has evolved to where it is. And, again, I'm not going to go into my rant yet because this is going to take me to my rant if I do. But the ability to see the entire we get so lost in the forest because of the trees. And it's something that people can't see the big picture. It's only about what's right in front of them right now. And I don't know. I don't get it. But either way, valiant effort by them. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. 2 games yesterday as well, down in the state championship round. It was 2A and 4A that played yesterday. They'll play 3A, then 6A, then 5A today. And that'll put a bow on the 25 football season. Last night out in Boyd County, it was the Round Ball Classic opening day. 2 games last night. It was Boyd County girls beating Pikeville, and then the Boyd County boys beating Morgan County. And let me tell you, both of those teams looked phenomenal. It's going to be fun. If you're a Boyd County basketball fan this year, you're going to enjoy what you see on the floor. And the crazy thing to think is the girls are a very youthful team. I'm talking about you could see as many as 4 8th graders on the floor at one point. And it's like it doesn't faze them. They just go out and play. But they've got 4 games out there today at Boyd County. We'll preview all those. We'll have all those games on Kool TV today as well. So I'll give you the list of that. College football conference championship week this weekend. There were 2 conference championships played last night, the Sun Belt and the American Conference, and then all your big ones today. Then tomorrow we get our final college football playoff rankings, and I'll break down what all of that looks like, of where we currently stand, and what has to happen for some teams to get in and how some teams could fall out. NFL this week, there's teams starting to get mathematically eliminated. And there's other teams that are trying to make a push to get themselves into the playoff picture. How does that work out? There's some really good games this weekend. Last weekend games sucked. The whole list. It was funny. On Sunday, I tried to watch the early game, and it was so bad. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. So I went on a movie binge last Sunday. I watched The Sound of Music, Aaron Brockovich, and then I had to get my man card back, so I watched War Games. But yeah, it was just all across the board. There was no good games on last week. Even the Sunday night game was just, I don't know, very bland. But I don't know. Sometimes you get those weeks in the NFL where it just doesn't work out the way you want it to. But some teams have started to separate to make themselves ahead of the class. And one of those teams is a team that I care a lot for. And I really love what the New England Patriots are doing right now. So we'll talk about that. And a Borders Sporting Goods Rant of the week, loyalty. All right, let's step out for our first break. We come back, we'll take a look at yesterday's events down at Lexington at Kroger Field. We'll preview also the basketball matchups that's coming up out of Boyd County this afternoon, which we got 4 games on tap in the Round Ball Classic. That's as we continue our coverage here on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network.
At First National Bank, we strive to make every person that walks through our doors feel like family, because to us, you are. For over 120 years, we have lived in and served the families of Kentucky with genuine care through the good times and the bad. Come and see the difference banking with family can truly make for you at any of our 7 locations, or visit our website at www.fnbgrayson.com. First National Bank, member FDIC.
Christmas is just around the corner, and Borders Sporting Goods is your one-stop shop for your avid outdoorsman. Borders offers Hoyt and Matthews bows as well as 10-point crossbows with a variety of accessories for all your hunting needs. Borders also offers a full selection of shotguns and rifles with plenty of ammunition and reload supplies, along with Benchmade and case knives. Borders is your headquarters for the largest selection of Liberty gun safes in the area, no matter how big or small your need to keep your firearms safe, and have layaway and delivery options available. Let Borders make all your holiday shopping a breeze. Stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
Tired of gas prices draining your wallet faster than your tank?
Download the Clark's Pump and Shop Rewards app. Earn discounts on gas, breakfast sandwiches, drinks, and more.
Fuel up, snack up, save up with Clark's Rewards. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel. My place for the game?
Zach, you never have food.
I'm going to Clark's Pump and Shop. I'm loading up on crispy crunchy chicken, Hanger 54 pizza, and chips.
Well then, I'm in. And way to support the family business.
Clark's Pump and Shop.
Return, refresh, refuel.
Primary Plus is your home for quality, advanced, affordable health care, offering family health, OBGYN, counseling, dental, diabetes management, patient-centered medical home, school-based health services, and a pharmacy. Primary Plus also offers the COVID-19 vaccine. Primary Plus with locations in Ashland, Vanceburg, South Shore, Grayson, Tollsboro, Maysville, Flemingsburg, and now in Moorhead. Online, primaryplus.net. For quality, advanced, affordable health care, come to Primary Plus. Again, online, primaryplus.net.
This is Across the Line with James Collier on the Total Media Sports Network and 105.7 WLGC.
Back at Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network as we dig into the game yesterday down in Lexington. And the Raceland Rams making their 4th consecutive trip to Kroger Field. And they match up against the KCD Bearcats. It was the 4th all-time meeting that these two teams had played, and Raceland had never lost. They've played them in the last 2 semifinals. First time in 23, beating them 42-6. Last year, they beat them 14-0. And this Bearcats team last year completely ditched their entire offense, and they went basically all in with a different style of offense that they wanted to run. You know, they were kind of a multiple spread type of thing before that, and they simply just didn't have the bodies or the size that some teams have to be able to be competitive in that type of offense. So Coach Matthew Jones decided, hey, we're going to go all in on the option. And they really dug in. Harding University, which is really a Division II school, that has really gone into everything that is what the option is. So you're talking about, you know, your Navy, your Air Force, those types of teams from there. And it's one of those deals that it's so hard to simulate in practice if you don't run the option yourself. And the closest thing that Raceland had seen this year to that type of offense they run was East Carter that runs out of the wing T, and then Nicholas County that goes into the wishbone. So that's the closest thing they've seen. But the biggest thing that I saw yesterday with KCD from last year to this year, last year they were running the same thing. It's the flex bone. And last year they did not have the pitch on the option. This year they did. And the guy who hurt Raceland the most was the guy who really wasn't considered part of the scouting report coming in. Their two primary running backs, Raceland stymied them very well. Parker Rudolph and Tyler Wilson. And Wilson was the one that they were really worried with because he's a track star. He has elusive speed. He gets in open space and he pulls away. But it was Deion Davidson that did the dirty work yesterday. And Davidson had his best game of his entire career so far and was named the MVP of the tournament game. The big part of it is that Raceland, I thought, looked very vanilla and uncomfortable in the first half. KCD did a really good job defensively of disrupting what Raceland wanted to do, and that was a lot of the stretch plays where they get the ball outside. It just simply wasn't there because KCD was taking away everything out wide of where Raceland kind of makes its bread and butter. Raceland did not have any chunk plays yesterday. I think their longest play of the day might have gone for right at 20 yards. And it's an electric, prolific offense. The biggest number, though, that just blew me away, though, was the fact that Raceland outgained KCD almost 2-1 with yards and still came up a loss. And that's just unheard of. But the crazy one, I think this one was the biggest bow break of the game, was Raceland mounted a 22-play drive that ate up 10 minutes and 28 seconds in the second quarter that took it all the way to halftime. They had the ball first and goal at the 4, and they had to settle for a field goal because they got behind the sticks. They had a third and goal from the 15, and Jake Waller scrambled to get it back to the 4, and then Raceland elected to go with points instead of trying the fourth down try. That could have evened the game at 7 at the time, but it was just one of the deals of everything that had to go right for KCD did. And I'll give you a point in case. So the first touchdown that KCD got, they had a couple of plays that set them up into position. First off, they played on a shortened field because of a bad punt. 7-3 coming out of the half. They get another shortened field because of a decent kickoff return because they kicked it to the wrong person. And then a penalty takes it down to the 32-yard line. And their quarterback, who, again, he's not a guy that's typically going to beat you with his arm. But he threw the ball 5 times yesterday, and he didn't miss any of them. And it's not because he made great passes. It's just because the bodies that are the football gods allowed every one of his passes to find the mark. And this one was a deep post route into double coverage. Both the corner and the safety were there. They were on top of this guy. And somehow both of them missed the ball. It goes through both of them. And the receiver on the other side reaches out and makes a fingertip grab and hangs onto the ball through the catch and puts it up first and goal at the 2. KC punches it in, makes it 14-3. Raceland found something offensively in that first half that started working really well. And they were getting 5 yards a carry. Just chunk play, no chunk plays, but 5 yards, 5 yards, 5 yards, 5 yards, right down the field. And then they go down, they get the touchdown as Jake Waller throws one to Parker Eisen, and that makes it 14-10. Raceland gets a stop. They go back down the field in the fourth quarter. Landon Stiltner gets into the end zone, and all of a sudden, it's 16-14. And then the Rams miss an extra point. So now you've got right at about 6 minutes to go in the ball game, and you're playing a team with KCD that has arguably one of the best kickers in the entire state in Philip Papa. And now the worry is that you're going to let them get into field goal range and they're going to beat you with a walk-off field goal because of a missed extra point. Well, that was not the case. Raceland allows them to get down the field very quickly, a couple of penalties, aided, again, KCD, and then Deion Davidson breaks one outside and gets the edge and runs away from everybody. Now, the good side of that was that made it 20-16. So the downside of that is that it also forced Raceland to have to score a touchdown because KCD elected to go for 2 at that point, which was irrelevant. But it took out the ability, because of the missed extra point, of having a chance for a field goal rather than a touchdown. So Raceland gets the ball back with 3 minutes and 30 seconds and full collection of timeouts. They take a ball across midfield, and then they get it in a 4th and 1. And with 2 timeouts, they lined up, tried to go quick, went with a quarterback sneak, and KCD snuffed it out, stuffed Raceland at the line. And just like last year, Raceland comes up short on a 4th down try with the season on the line. And they come up a bridesmaid once again in Lexington as they fall 20-16. It was one of those days that it just had an odd feeling. But it was going into the game, for me, it had a feeling that this was a different year. You know, that team was really solid. And the anomaly of this game was there's not many nights that you give up more yards to your opponent by 2-1, which is what KCD did to Raceland, and you still come out of there with a victory. And it's just mind-blowing that that's how that went down, and I don't understand it. KCD was averaging giving up right at 95 yards a game on the ground. Raceland had 101 at the half. So, it's one of those deals, though. KCD made the best of their opportunities, and some of the things on the stat sheet, too, that you look at is the fact of KCD's yardage being much less than it was with Raceland. It's because the times they had the football, they started on some shortened fields. Raceland's last drive after the touchdown from KCD, they kicked the ball off. Raceland fielded the ball at the 1 and tried to return it out and got it to the 12. Instead of just letting that ball go into the end zone and take the ball at the 20. And you may say, well, it's only 8 yards. 8 yards is a lot when you're trying to mount a championship run for a drive. 8 yards means a lot. And starting at your own 20 rather than your own 12 is huge. Because, again, any small, minor mistake there at the 12, and you're behind the 10, and you got the shadow of your own goalpost on your back. So, the biggest thing that I come away with this game, too, was the fact of the discrepancy within the penalty department. And I don't want to say that the guys that were on this crew were terrible, because I don't think that they were. They were not trying to always be a part of this game. I just find it hard to believe that a team that runs an option offense did not get called for a single penalty until their final possession of the ball game when they were going into victory formation. And they were late getting a person on, and they only had 10 guys on the field, and they took a delay of game. Other than that, that was their only penalty. They did not get called for a single hold. And I'm sorry, I just don't see how that you can play high school football for 48 minutes, and you can't tell me you don't get penalized one stinking time for a hold. I find that very hard to believe. So, and it wasn't that Raceland got flagged a bunch. I think it ended up being 5 penalties. 2 of those were unsportsmanlike conducts. There was one that was a big run that got pulled back because of a penalty, because it took it down to the 45, then ended up that, which would have been a first down, by the way, to the KCD 45. The 10-yard penalty backed it up to the Raceland 45 and still made them behind the sticks. So, it's one of those deals of you've got you were there, and it's, in the ballpark, and it's so frustrating for this team too, and I understand it. You've been there 4 straight years. The senior class has known nothing besides going to Lexington on the first Friday in December. So, the community, the support was there. All of the buzz around the 100th season was there. It was a storybook ending, especially with the way the season started with the kick at Ashland to win it. And then the opportunity to have a chance at Kroger this year against a very formidable opponent at KCD, and you come up short. And again, it stings. I mean, I was gut-wrenched yesterday of having the opportunity to call that first ever state championship game in what year that I felt like was probably the best opportunity Raceland's ever had. But again, Coach Salmons told me this week. He said the evolution of a program is you just don't wake up and jump up and all of a sudden you're on the top of the mountain. And you look at where Raceland has been and where they've come to, and it's been a monumental seismic change. Mike Salmons, his 12th season, has had 1 losing season his entire career. And a win yesterday would have tied the school record for wins of 13, which the Raceland Rams had in 22. 4 consecutive state title bids. They've gone to the Kroger 5 times in the 100 years of a program, and Mike Salmons is the only one that's taken them there. So, say what you want, but I think the program's in pretty good hands. And, again, this one burns and it stings as a part of Raceland. But take nothing away. There's a lot of teams that would be very happy to put that big silver trophy in the trophy case as a monumental moment for their program. But again, when you've been there so many times and you've come so close, and again have it slip away, it stings. And this one stings really bad. So the other 2 games yesterday in Class 2A, it was Lexington Christian beating Owensboro Catholic. Owensboro Catholic, much like Raceland, has been the bridesmaid in Lexington for many years. They've gotten so close and just cannot get over that hump. But LCA, Raceland played LCA last year in a very good program. A lot of those players last year were juniors, so this year's senior class. But they get theirs. But interesting fact to throw in here, the first 2 games yesterday was private versus public, and then 2 private schools. And your first 2 games yesterday, the private schools are your champions. Now, the last game last night, 2 county schools, Boyle County, Franklin County, and Boyle County ran it up on Franklin County, 34-0. I did not see that coming. And Franklin County was undefeated, by the way, coming into this game. 14-0 in Class 4A. And they get steamrolled by Boyle County. Just unbelievable to think of that. Now, the 3 games today, at noon it's the 3A game, Cal and Murray. Cal will put a running clock on Murray. At 4 o'clock, the 6A game, South Warren and Trinity. I think Trinity's a 2-touchdown favorite in this game over South Warren, who is undefeated, by the way, in 6A. And in the 5A game, Pulaski County and Owensboro. I think Owensboro gets the win in that one. Okay, today out at Boyd County in basketball action, we've got the Round Ball Classic as we've got 4 games on tap today. The first game today will be Raceland and Letcher County Central. That game tips off at 2 o'clock. Our pregame coverage will begin at 1:45 on Kool TV. Then you'll have at 3:30 or thereabouts or so, Johnson Central and Montgomery County in girls action. Then at 5 o'clock, we'll have Boyd County boys playing Johnson Central. And then at 6:30, Boyd County girls will play Scott County. So a lot of stuff going on today out of Boyd County. Some great basketball last night. Boyd County boys got a phenomenal win over Morgan County. Nearly hit the century mark. 96-52 was the final score. And then the girls, a big win over Pikeville last night. It was kind of a back-and-forth effort in the first half, and then they found a little surge right before halftime. And they get in the third quarter, and you look up, and you're like, holy moly, what happened? And they're up 20. They won by almost 30 last night. So Kim Groves' group has really got it dialed in, but a 74-45 victory. They're 2-0 on the season. They've got on Monday at home, they're going to play Hurricane West Virginia. We'll have that game for you on Kool TV as well. All right, let's step out for a break. We come back, we'll dive into college football. A lot to talk about around college football. Conference championship weekend. Yesterday, 2 games have played. We got the rest of them today, and the final college football playoffs rankings tomorrow. We'll continue when we break it down here on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network.
Primary Plus is your home for quality, advanced, affordable health care, offering family health, OBGYN, counseling, dental, diabetes management, patient-centered medical home, school-based health services, and a pharmacy. Primary Plus also offers the COVID-19 vaccine. Primary Plus with locations in Ashland, Vanceburg, South Shore, Grayson, Tollsboro, Maysville, Flemingsburg, and now in Moorhead. Online, primaryplus.net. For quality, advanced, affordable health care, come to Primary Plus. Again, online, primaryplus.net.
Christmas is just around the corner, and Borders Sporting Goods is your one-stop shop for your avid outdoorsman. Borders Sporting Goods is your fishing headquarters for rods and reels from G. Loomis, St. Croix, Fenwick, Lewes, Shimano, Daiwa, and Abu Garcia. No matter what species of fish you are targeting, Borders has the perfect setup to make your next trip on the water a success. Borders has baits in every size and style with a wide selection of tackle from Berkeley, Strike King, Zoom, Z-Man, Bandit, and many more. Let Borders make all your holiday shopping a breeze. Stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
Tired of gas prices draining your wallet faster than your tank?
Download the Clark's Pump and Shop Rewards app. Earn discounts on gas, breakfast sandwiches, drinks, and more.
Fuel up, snack up, save up with Clark's Rewards. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel. My place for the game?
Zach, you never have food.
I'm going to Clark's Pump and Shop. I'm loading up on crispy crunchy chicken, Hanger 54 pizza, and chips.
Well then, I'm in. And way to support the family business.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
At First National Bank, we strive to make every person that walks through our doors feel like family, because to us, you are. For over 120 years, we have lived in and served the families of Kentucky with genuine care through the good times and the bad. Come and see the difference banking with family can truly make for you at any of our 7 locations, or visit our website at www.fnbgrayson.com. First National Bank, member FDIC.
Hank FM weather.
Your Tri-State weather forecast is brought to you by Perry Distributing in Ironton and Ashland, proud distributors of Budweiser and Bud Light.
This morning, it'll be mostly cloudy with afternoon highs reaching near 42. Heading into the evening, we'll see clouds hold steady with temperatures dropping down to around 28. And to look ahead to Sunday, we'll see mostly cloudy skies with a chance for some afternoon rain and highs reaching near 44.
Sports scores, interviews, and more. This is Across the Line with James Collier on the Total Media Sports Network and 105.7 WLDC.
Back inside the Octagon on the Total Media Sports Network as we dive into college football playoffs. Playoffs? Yeah, you talk about playoffs? Yeah, I'm talking about playoffs, Jim Moore. All right, 2 games already final last night in the American Championship. It was number 20 Tulane beating number 24 North Texas 34-21. Now, what that has done is there's one of those bids that will go to the Group of 5 champion. So Tulane is ranked at 20th. North Texas 24th. In the Sun Belt Championship last night, it was number 25 James Madison over Troy 31-14. So one of those teams are for sure in, and that's Tulane. So Tulane is either going to be at number 11 or number 12. Now, the other team that's hanging around there, which is James Madison, they're waiting to see what happens with that ACC championship game today. Because if Duke would beat number 17 Virginia today, we're going to get 2 Group of 5 teams in, and the ACC champion's going to be left out. I'll break it all down here in just a second. It's crazy to think of, but it could happen. Okay, your 4 power conferences today. At 12 o'clock, number 11 BYU plays number 4 Texas Tech at AT&T Stadium. They're down at Jerry World for the Big 12 championship. Texas Tech should roll in this one, which is going to take BYU out of the conversation. Now, BYU sitting at 11th is really not a big part of the puzzle because, again, unless they win the Big 12 championship, they're going to be out regardless because you're going to have your Group of 5 champion coming in that's going to take your spot. So, or the ACC champion also coming in to take that spot. So BYU is in a position, it's either win or you're out for sure. Even though you're right now ranked 11th, you can't get in. At 4 o'clock today in Atlanta, Georgia, you've got number 3 Georgia, number 9 Alabama. It's a rematch of the game that Georgia won earlier this year in the SEC championship. Georgia is a 1.5 favorite in this game. Alabama, you're on that fringe. And again, I don't think that unless Alabama gets blown out of this game, I don't think Alabama falls out of the top rankings. And again, the big thing is with Alabama moving into 9th last week, it gives you just a little bit of wiggle room to where you could say, okay, you're still in the college football playoffs. There were some interesting moves made last week in the rankings that says a lot about where the committee is sitting going into tomorrow's final rankings. All right, tonight at 8 o'clock, we get a doubleheader. The one game most people will be watching, the one up in Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Number 2, Indiana. Number 1, Ohio State. Both teams, 12-0. This one's going to be a good one. And Indiana has made a seismic shift in the Big Ten. Can they move on past and become the top team in all of the land? We will see. But this one will be a good football game. We'll be watching this one later tonight. And then also at 8 o'clock, Duke, number 17, Virginia, down in Charlotte at Bank of America Stadium, the home of the Carolina Panthers. So, again, the ACC, the worst thing that they could have had happen was Miami not be in the conference championship. Because now you have a situation to where you could have yourself eliminated from the college football playoffs simply because your one ranked team that's in that matchup gets eliminated. So here's how everything breaks down, okay? And try to follow me because this is a hard one to follow along. Okay, the first thing you have to understand is that it's hard to punish a team for playing an extra game in a conference championship compared to teams that are sitting at home this weekend because, 1, they didn't make the conference championship, or 2, they don't have a conference championship. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Notre Dame. So that's something that you have to take into perspective because, again, I've said this so many times that it is so hard for you to tell me that I have to play a 13th game while you sit at home, but if I lose, you get to jump over top of me. That doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. That should never, ever be the case. And one of those teams that's in the middle of this entire conundrum is Oregon, who sits at 5th. And you've got all these other teams that sitting there around you, both top and bottom, that are playing this weekend, and you're sitting at home watching. And how interesting of a matchup is it going to be of what happens with Oregon when the rankings come out tomorrow? Because, again, you've got another team in there of Ole Miss, who, by the way, doesn't have a head coach. They have an interim head coach because Lane Kiffin left and went to LSU. So Ole Miss goes out and brings in Charlie Weiss to try to say, hey, we've got a formidable head coach. We don't penalize us because you don't think we have a head coach. Then you've got Texas A&M, who lost to Texas last week and falls out of the SEC championship game. Then you've got Oklahoma that's sitting there out of the SEC championship game. And then you've got Alabama, who sits at 9th. And the question becomes, if Alabama beats Georgia, 1, how far do they rise? But let's say they lose to Georgia by 3. Could Alabama jump Oregon, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, all at the same time? That 5 through 8 of those teams that are sitting at home watching leaves an interesting conundrum for the committee of what they're going to do with Alabama. And again, it all comes out to how does this game play out with them in Georgia? I think the only thing you would see happen at the top with Ohio State and Indiana is whichever team wins goes to 1, the other team goes to 2. Unless Indiana gets blown out or Ohio State gets blown out and Georgia just steamrolls Alabama, that would be the only situation where I see Georgia goes to 2. Other than that, I think you flip-flop 1 and 2 with whoever wins the Big Ten championship, and the other one's your 2. I think Georgia's a lock at 3, unless, like I said, we get a sizable win by the Big Ten champion, and Georgia absolutely wrecks Alabama. Then you've got a case to where Georgia goes to 2, and the Big Ten runner-up goes to 3. I don't see Texas Tech moving ahead of Georgia unless Georgia loses. And then the question becomes, and this is the interesting question here, does the committee look at Alabama's overall schedule of the games they've played, of what they've done, and an SEC championship as greater than a Big 12 championship? And would Alabama move from 9th to 3rd, and Texas Tech would stay at 4th? I don't think that you could quite jump that, but I would say Alabama's resume is much bigger than Texas Tech's resume. SEC is way better than the Big 12. So that's the interesting pieces that are all there in the top of teams that we know are in. Okay, I don't think there's any question. All those teams I just talked about, they are in. We know those are locked, even Alabama. The big question happens with what happens at number 10. Because last week, the committee moves Notre Dame down to 10th, moves Alabama up to 9th. And that's still a position of safety for Notre Dame. Because you've got 11th ranked BYU that's playing the Big 12 championship. They lose today, they're gone. Okay? Because that spot, 11 and 12, is going to get filled by somebody else. The only way BYU gets in is they have to win today. So then you've got 12th ranked Miami. And this is the interesting conundrum that is the College Football Playoff Committee this weekend. Because here's where we are. Right now, we know at least number 12 is Tulane. They are the Group of 5 champion. They are a conference champion, so they're the highest ranked conference champion, which gives them the bid. Okay? So that puts the American in. Now, again, it's 5 automatic bids to conference champions. It's not 4 Power 4 and 1 Group of 5 champion. It's the 5 conference champions that get in, with one of those having to be the Group of 5. Okay? Now, here's the situation you're in. The other conference champion does not have to be a Power 4. It just has to be a conference champion. The only one that's guaranteed is the Group of 5. They get one automatic guaranteed, their Group of 5 champion, whether it's the American, the Sun Belt, Conference USA, whatever. One of those teams get in. But they got a chance of sneaking a second one in. And here's how. If Duke beats Virginia tonight, the Sun Belt is going to get that 5th bid, and they're going to be number 12. And the ACC is going to be left out of the conference playoffs, or the college football playoffs. Yes, that can happen. So then you would have at 11th Tulane, and at 12 you'd have James Madison. Then the question becomes, what do you do with Miami and Notre Dame? Because both of those teams are sitting on the outside looking in. And don't forget, you've got 13th ranked Texas sitting right there that just knocked off, at the time, number 3 Texas A&M on their only loss of the season. Do they sneak in out of the SEC? You've got Vanderbilt at 14th that's saying, hey, guys, don't forget about us. We played a pretty good schedule. We're 10-2. we feel like we've got a much better resume than Miami does at 12, we should be in the conference, in the college football playoffs. So this is going to get interesting. And the worst thing that could happen tonight for the college football playoffs is Duke beating Virginia. Because then, no matter what, the committee has to make a decision of who is going to get the final position in the playoffs, and that position is going to be anchored at number 10. And that's going to be, what are you going to do with Notre Dame? Do you believe that Notre Dame is, as an overall resume, one of the best 12 teams left? Or do you look down that list and say, Miami, Texas, Vanderbilt, I'm looking at you. Which one of you had the best sex appeal with your season that we drag in? I don't know. There's so many possibilities that could come out with this. And tomorrow when we get those final rankings, it's going to be interesting. But there's still a lot to determine tonight. Because, again, if BYU wins, that really drags in an issue, because if you get a BYU win, you're going to move them ahead of Notre Dame. Okay? That moves Notre Dame into 11th. If you get a Duke win over Virginia, Notre Dame's for sure out. I don't care what happens, because Notre Dame's going to fall to 11th at least. And then you're going to bring out which would be Miami, who is at 12th. Then you're going to bring in Tulane and James Madison. And then could we see, here's the thing, could we see something happen with Ole Miss because of the departure of Lane Kiffin? You know, we've seen the committee punish teams for stuff that have happened with players and parts of their pieces and stuff. It's possible. You know, you've got 4 teams, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Oregon, that are not playing today. And they're sitting there with having to figure out what's going to happen around them with those teams that are in front of them. So, man, this is going to be fun. This may be one of the best years of college football playoffs coming into the rankings, of so many possibilities that are out there, that one little domino falls and the whole tower comes to the ground. So I'm locked in for tomorrow, but we get those final playoff rankings tomorrow around noon. It's going to be a lot of fun to see what happens. All right, let's take a break. We come back, we'll dive into the NFL and take a look and see where we are this week with those teams that are on the bubble of being eliminated for postseason play. That's as we continue here on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network. Christmas is just around the corner, and Borders Sporting Goods is your one-stop shop for your avid outdoorsman. Borders offers Hoyt and Matthews bows as well as 10-point crossbows with a variety of accessories for all your hunting needs. Borders also offers a full selection of shotguns and rifles with plenty of ammunition and reload supplies, along with Benchmade and case knives. Borders is your headquarters for the largest selection of Liberty gun safes in the area, no matter how big or small your need, to keep your firearms safe and have layaway and delivery options available. Let Borders make all your holiday shopping a breeze. Stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
Tired of gas prices draining your wallet faster than your tank?
Download the Clark's Pump and Shop Rewards app. Earn discounts on gas, breakfast sandwiches, drinks, and more.
Fuel up, snack up, save up with Clark's Rewards. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel. My place for the game?
Zach, you never have food.
I'm going to Clark's Pump and Shop. I'm loading up on crispy crunchy chicken, Hanger 54 pizza, and chips.
Well then, I'm in. And way to support the family business.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
At First National Bank, we strive to make every person that walks through our doors feel like family, because to us, you are. For over 120 years, we have lived in and served the families of Kentucky with genuine care through the good times and the bad. Come and see the difference banking with family can truly make for you at any of our 7 locations, or visit our website at www.fnbgrayson.com. First National Bank, member FDIC.
Primary Plus is your home for quality, advanced, affordable health care, offering family health, OBGYN, counseling, dental, diabetes management, patient-centered medical home, school-based health services, and a pharmacy. Primary Plus also offers the COVID-19 vaccine. Primary Plus with locations in Ashland, Vandsburg, South Shore, Grayson, Tollsboro, Maysville, Flemingsburg, and now in Moorhead. Online, primaryplus.net. For quality, advanced, affordable health care, come to Primary Plus. Again, online, primaryplus.net.
Kicking off your sports Saturday with Across the Line, right here on the Total Media Sports Network at 105.7 WLGC.
Back on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network as we head into NFL week number 14. Thursday Night Football, Lions flexing on the Cowboys. Again, this was a game that the Lions led, that it was a 20-9 lead at halftime. They extend the lead there in the third quarter, and then all of a sudden the Cowboys are like, oh, wait a minute, hold up. We want to play in this game. And then here they come. But every surge they made, the Lions answered. And Dak Prescott throws for 376 yards. But there are some major problems with that team. You know, CeeDee Lamb got hurt, 6 catches, 121 yards, and then left with a concussion. But George Pickens, he was not connected. And, you know, you say you want to be that guy. You want to be the dude. And you can't take off plays like he did. But the Detroit Lions really kind of put themselves in the driver's seat now to where I think they are in the playoffs, unless they just melt down the stretch. But they keep themselves in the conversation, too, of that NFC North title. Jared Goff, 309 yards, a touchdown. He was only sacked once. Dallas got sacked 5 times. David Montgomery, 6 carries for 60. Jahmyr Gibbs, 12 carries, 43 yards, but 3 tutties. You know, that's big. Amon-Ra St. Brown played in this game. They wasn't for sure if he was going to go. He goes out, catches 6 balls for 92 yards. 6 balls on 9 targets, by the way. So, you know, it's one of the things is with you talk about, you know, teams that make it to the option of being the best team in football. And, you know, everybody I thought last year, me included, thought that Detroit was one of those teams that should have been playing for a Super Bowl. And then they have the bye week, and then they come back into the divisional round and get beat by the Commanders. And it's like, did you miss your window of opportunity? And I think we're seeing how quickly that window of opportunity can change in a moment's notice. You got a Lions team last year that won 15 games, and now they're 8-5. So it's one of those deals. It makes you really appreciate the stuff that you've had, and sometimes you have to see what you don't have to see what you had of how important it really is to you. Okay, here we go with games for tomorrow in the 1 o'clock window. Seahawks are at the Falcons. Bengals are at the Bills. Titans are at the Browns. Commanders, Vikings. Dolphins, Jets. Saints are at the Bucks. Colts and Jaguars. And the Steelers at the Ravens. Only 2 games in there that really, I don't know, look like good ball games. Colts, Jags. You know, can the Jaguars be the team that everybody thinks that they have an opportunity being? And the Colts, after starting the season blistering red hot, have kind of fallen back into the mix now of, are they really that team that they were trying to beat? Likewise, Steelers-Ravens in a pair of 6-6 teams that neither has shown the ability to be that team. And I think one thing with the Steelers, the Aaron Rodgers project is quickly running out of steam. And I think fans are getting very frustrated with Aaron Rodgers and his antics of, you know, he needs to go to the darkness and he needs to stay there for a long time. Okay, the 4 o'clock window tomorrow, Broncos are at the Raiders. Bears, Packers, and Lambeau. That's a really good football game. I'm excited to see that one. Rams, Cardinals. Rams coming off that tough loss last weekend. Again, it shows you any given week, anybody's fair game. But that was an ugly loss for the Rams last week to the Panthers. And then Sunday Night Football, we get to listen to Chris Collinsworth have his love affair with Patrick Mahomes as the Texans go to Arrowhead and play the Chiefs. The Chiefs are all but done. They are 6-6. They are 5-1 at home this year, but the Texans have looked like one of the best teams in all of football over the last month, especially with C.J. Stroud back. And don't forget, that defense has been absolutely locked in. So this one will tell us a lot about, one, where the Chiefs truly are, and two, are the Texans for real? A loss here by the Chiefs, they're done. They are on life support right now with the playoffs. But if they lose this one, they're finished. Monday Night Football, Eagles at the Chargers. Eagles have really kind of fallen into the pack. Again, a loss here by the Eagles brings in all kinds of playoff possibilities in the NFC East. Patriots, Giants, 49ers, and Panthers are on byes this week. All right, so looking right now at the playoff picture, here's how it would be. The Patriots, Broncos, Bills all look like a sure make into the playoffs. Okay, Patriots are obviously, they're the top seed right now in the AFC. Broncos, 99% chance of getting in. Bills at a 90%. Jacksonville right there. Indianapolis, I think they're a lock. Then the teams that you've got below that are in the conversation, Baltimore, 59% chance of getting in. The Chargers, 59% chance of getting in. Houston at 51. Then you go to Kansas City, who sits at 41. And again, if they lose, they're done. I mean, they are so gone, it's not even close to making a conversation piece. Now, the NFC, the Eagles are set to make the playoffs, 96%. San Francisco, the Rams, and the Packers. Then you've got some really good teams that have high percentages of making the playoffs that sit in front of you. The Seahawks, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Chicago Bears, all of those 75% or higher, and then Detroit at 58% at 8-5. So a huge win for Detroit, but they've got a lot of tough games coming up on their schedule down the stretch. All right, we'll take our final break. We'll come back. It's the Borders Sporting Goods Rant of the Week. That's when we continue our coverage here on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network.
At First National Bank, we strive to make every person that walks through our doors feel like family, because to us, you are. For over 120 years, we have lived in and served the families of Kentucky with genuine care through the good times and the bad. Come and see the difference banking with family can truly make for you at any of our 7 locations, or visit our website at www.fnbgrayson.com. First National Bank, member FDIC.
Christmas is just around the corner, and Borders Sporting Goods is your one-stop shop for your avid outdoorsman. Borders Sporting Goods is your fishing headquarters for rods and reels from G. Loomis, St. Croix, Fenwick, Lewes, Shimano, Daiwa, and Abu Garcia. No matter what species of fish you are targeting, Borders has the perfect setup to make your next trip on the water a success. Borders has baits in every size and style with a wide selection of tackle from Berkley, Strike King, Zoom, Z-Man, Bandit, and many more. Let Borders make all your holiday shopping a breeze. Stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
Tired of gas prices draining your wallet faster than your tank?
Download the Clark's Pump and Shop Rewards app. Earn discounts on gas, breakfast sandwiches, drinks, and more.
Fuel up, snack up, save up with Clark's Rewards. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel. My place for the game?
Zach, you never have food.
I'm going to Clark's Pump and Shop. I'm loading up on crispy crunchy chicken, Hanger 54 pizza, and chips.
Well then, I'm in. And way to support the family business.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Primary Plus is your home for quality, advanced, affordable health care, offering family health, OBGYN, counseling, dental, diabetes management, patient-centered medical home, school-based health services, and a pharmacy. Primary Plus also offers the COVID-19 vaccine. Primary Plus with locations in Ashland, Vanceburg, South Shore, Grayson, Tollsboro, Maysville, Flemingsburg, and now in Moorhead. Online, primaryplus.net. For quality, advanced, affordable health care, come to Primary Plus. Again, online, primaryplus.net.
Fox News. I'm Paul Stevens. We're getting more details now about a would-be bomber.
The man accused of planting pipe bombs outside the Republican and Democratic National Party headquarters in 2021 told investigators he was disappointed in the 2020 election results. Brian Kool Jr. confessed to planting the bombs on the eve of the January 6th U.S. Capitol riot. Kool Jr. was arrested Thursday in Virginia, remains in jail.
Fox's Chan Lee painter Brian Kool Jr. appearing in court on Friday. Officials in New Orleans, meantime, bracing for a federal immigration crackdown.
Overall, our points are just very simple. They're simple. They're centered around communication, transparency, accountability, and upholding people's constitutional rights. I don't believe that we're asking for too much here.
New Orleans Mayor-elect Helena Moreno. America's listening to Fox News.
If you've been...
More great country music from the legends coming up right after Across the Line with James Collier, right here on 105.7 WLGC.
Back inside the Octagon on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network. And it's time for the Borders Sporting Goods Rant of the Week. Borders Sporting Goods US 60 in Cannonsburg. For your hunting and fishing needs, go see Brad and the gang out of Borders. Look at y'all taking away. Still got that Black Friday sale going on. Big discounts on the Liberty gun safe. They've got delivery available, layaway available as well. They've got Case, Benchmade, and Buck knives. They've got Hoyt and Matthews crossbows. Plenty of stuff fishing-wise, combos, rods and reels. Also, gift cards available. So you can go out, check them out in Cannonsburg. You can also hit them online at bordersportinggoods.com. So, again, hey, if anybody out there wants to get me a Christmas gift, just go buy me a gift card from Borders. Josh knows I'll spend it for sure out there. All right. I may ruffle some feathers with this, but that's okay. But this is about loyalty. And, yesterday, Raceland took a tough loss. And, of course, it's disappointing. 5th year to get to the state title, 4 consecutive, and coming up short again in that championship game. And there were some people out there that was already throwing it around on social media, which, again, we've got the keyboard warriors that love to hide behind social media and just throw things out there, calling for Mike Sammons' job. And first thing I've got to say is stop. You're absurd. The man that, one, has the most wins in program history, has taken this team to 5 championship games. Before him, none. Has turned this program into a perennial powerhouse in Class A football. In a team that, a community that's 5 square miles long. This guy is heart and true orange and black. That's all he knows. He's lived there all his life. He went to Raceland. He lives 2 minutes from the high school. I mean, that's all the man knows is Raceland. And because Raceland loses another state championship game, it's time to fire Mike and get somebody else in there. So my question is for those people out there that think that it's time to fire Mike Sammons, who's your call? Who do you have lined up that you're going to bring in that's going to replace Mike Sammons and going to change everything for the betterment of Raceland football? I want to know that. Because that's the thing, is everybody is so quick in today's society, especially with sports, that when things don't go their way, the coach needs to be fired. And we're going to bring somebody else in that's going to fix it. Well, who's that somebody? Because I'm telling you right now, there would be a very short list that would replace Mike Sammons right now. Mike Sammons is a legend at Raceland football. And not only Raceland football, but across the state in football as a whole. That man has paid his dues. He's won more games as a head coach, and it has the longest tenure of any head coach in Raceland football history. And when you talk about the Raceland legends, Bill Tom Ross and Randy Vanderhoof, those were your 2 legends, and he's passed both of them. And because Raceland loses their 4th consecutive state championship, it's time to run Mike out of town and let's go get somebody else. Who's somebody else you're going to go get? I want to know. Who do you have on that list that's going to replace somebody that has turned this program into something that was, you were competing as a district, and now you're competing for state championships? And, when I was talking with Coach Sammons yesterday in pregame, one of the things he talks about a lot was how much Philip Haywood really kind of took him under his wing and got him going where he was. And the big thing is that if you're going to run somebody out, you need to start looking at really what it is that you want. And to think that the thing to do is to move Mike Sammons out is absolutely absurd. So for those out there saying that, stop it. Go in a closet and scream for a while. Maybe it'll make you feel better. That's it for us this week, guys. Have a great weekend. For everyone here at the Total Media Sports Network, I'm James Collier. So long, everyone.
You've been listening to Across the Line with James Collier on 105.7 WLGC FM and the Total Media Sports Network. Tune in each Saturday morning beginning at 10 for the latest news and analysis from inside the Octagon of Sports on 105.7